Welcome to episode 50 of TerrorVision Horror Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Dan McGuinness, and joining me on the Midnight Meat Train is my co-host, Jennifer, the Dream Warrior Strand.
Toot-toot.
Every week, we take one horror movie and we cut it to pieces with our internet words of flammamy. Just made that word up. That's one of the words you will be expecting.
I love it.
Together, we are two people with a love of horror, but we do feel the burn of our obsolete Blockbuster membership cards. Rest in peace.
You can get a cream for that now.
Oh, shit dicks. I'd just like to thank all of our listeners who support us over on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Breaker, CastBox, Google Podcasts, Radio Public, and the YouTube. We love you, and we use this part as just a way of making everyone else know where we're from.
Yeah.
Even though they would be listening, so it's moot. Shout out to the people who interact with us and help us out and help us grow. So thank you to people like Julie Nicolo, Audio Blood. If you ever get a chance, go check Audio Blood out. It's another podcast, and they
Soundtracks.
They do soundtracks kind of thing.
That's my jam.
I know, like horror soundtracks and stuff like that. Thank you to Dion Cracknell. Thank you to Bryn Phillips, and thank you to Adam Gillespie. That's some of the people that interact with us, that did interact with us over this week. Let's move straight into our fun facts about ourselves. My fun fact is my wife made our engagement invitations that had the monster from The Thing on them. Now, I know that. So my wife made this completely independent from me. She didn't ask me or anything. And if anyone who's seen The Thing, there's like a part where there's these two faces that are mushed together, like merged in like agony.
Yes.
And she's put that on the wedding invitation. She's made it pink. And it's kind of in a love heart shape. And then she's written in like, what are those things called? Like the little like banners.
Yeah.
Like, and she's written Together Forever on there.
This is perfect. Like, I'm looking at it right now, and we will be taking a photo and posting it, but this is perfection. This is what wedding invitations should aspire to be.
Exactly. This is why she is my wife.
It's
now.
so cool. Yeah, right?
And we got a lot of people who like didn't actually notice The Thing's face in there, and we're like, oh, it's weird for Claire to do a stereotypical kind of girly, what is it? Not anniversary, what's it called? Engagement invite. And I'm like, did you look at it? It's full of horror.
Yeah. It's cool horror. It's pink. It's gross. I love it.
I know.
Nothing says love like gross.
I know. What have you been up to this week?
I saw Mortal Kombat.
Oh, Mortal Kombat. Does it have like a throwback to that kind of music in it? Without any spoilers, because I haven't seen it and I want to see it. It does have some good throwbacks.
However,
yeah, ooh.
yeah, well, I'm not gonna. Well, they released the soundtrack, the theme song a while ago, so it's not a spoiler. But yeah, is
it tacky 90s techno?
It's not, but there is a point where you're listening to it and you're like, yeah, the nostalgia's hitting. Apparently it slaps, as the kids say nowadays. But then they start doing
like... Is it a bop, as they say?
A bop.
Yeah.
Then they start doing like, it's like Skrillex just came into the room and he's like, yo, I want to have a go.
So it's like that.
It's okay.
Because me and my wife listened to the Mortal Kombat theme the other night, so I was going to get her ready for it. It's like, and then it's like, yeah, like comes in with a dubstep beat drop.
Yeah, this is what happens in this theme. It's like dubstep. So,
I love dubstep. I'm like the only over 40-year-old that likes dubstep. I find the sound so intriguing, like that they make. I'm like, oh, I like that sound.
All I can think about when I think of dubstep is that Key and Peele skit that they did where they're like being thrown across the room and they're like.
my first introduction to dubstep was like a meme, like an old meme, which was that Microsoft Farm Simulator video. Have you seen that? Like 360 no plow.
No.
Oh my God, it's so good. And they've made, that game, it's so boring.
Yes.
And someone's made a video with full Skrillex, but it's like it's the best game in the world. It's like, new plow. And it's so funny. I love it so much.
That sounds like a lot of fun. But yes, Mortal Kombat, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've heard a few people come out and go, well, actually.
Is it actually... because of people, Mortal Kombat fans don't like it? Is that it?
I think it's just people trying to find fault with something. Everyone, if a lot of people are saying something's really good and then someone's like, nah, I got to say that it's bad because I need to have that different.
Yeah. I need the hits. I need the likes. I need the comments.
I mean, I'm sitting there going, I want more violence, but it's already incredibly violent.
Man, the game's pretty violent.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, the game's crazy violent.
Yes.
Well, look at the pedestal that they're at the first two Mortal Kombat films that they had to beat. It's not hard, eh? Like, we watched the scene of Scorpion and Johnny Cage in the forest, me and Claire, on YouTube, because we're getting ready for it. And it's so bad. It's like the worst. And their fighting is like people who don't fight.
Yes.
It's the slowest fighting. Like, the actual punches in it, in real life, I could dodge.
Yeah, probably. But I mean, all the actors, like the guy that's in it, the guy that plays Sub-Zero, I can't remember his name right now. He's a martial artist, and he's so fast that at some point, like during filming, they're like, "Okay, we need you to slow down."
Oh, they did that to Bruce Lee as well, apparently. Yeah. That's crazy good. Is Donnie Yen in it? Because he should be if he's not.
No, he's not in it.
Weird.
No.
Donnie Money's where it's at.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, let's move on. We could do a whole Mortal Kombat cast, but we won't. Let's move on to our spoiler cast. Yes, every week Jennifer and I set ourselves a horror movie to watch, and then we go through it scene by scene, spoiling the fuck out of the whole film. It's a deep dive into glorious gore, hard edits, cheesy acting, directing madness, severed wangs, and compound fractures. We have a rating system which is legendary in its status now. What are the ratings, Jen?
It is legendary. Okay, for those of you playing at home, we've got the A, awesome, everybody should watch. We've got our B, beer and chicken wing group movie. F is for fun and dumb. C is a classic that's worth a watch. U is underrated. G, good for its time, but it's not held up. We've got the J, Jen special, the D, Dan special. We've got a W, which is whatever. That sound exactly. We've got the Kesha, a low-budget hot mess. C minus, craft is stellar, but I hate the content. And the cream of the crap, the McConaughey, the fucking fucked. We watched it, so you don't have to.
We haven't had a McConaughey in a while.
We haven't.
Which is good, because I don't like watching them. So
well, you never know until you watch it.
It's true. So this week we watched The Thing from 1982, which was my choice.
Yes, it was.
What are its vital statistics?
So, directed by John Carpenter, who we love. We know and love.
Old crotchety Carpenter.
He's looking like a crotchety old man now.
And he's exhibiting the symptoms of it as well. He's so angry and I don't give a shit.
Pretty much. Yeah, I think like in one of the documentaries we're watching, he's like, oh, if they didn't like it, well, fuck them. Like, okay.
He did a bit of that with this film, actually, like, because he copped heaps of flack for this film because they were just like, we just made people like aliens with E.T. and you bring this out? You've ruined aliens again.
Nah, never. Screenplay is by Bill Lancaster. It stars Kurt Russell with a mighty, mighty beard.
Oh, man, there's a mighty, mighty headwear as well, which may be the biggest headwear it's ever been in any film.
More than likely, yes.
That's stupid.
He's just some wild and crazy guy. Wilford Brimley and Keith David are also in it. It's got a pretty good cast of manly men. It's great. There was a budget of $15 million, so that's pretty good. Box office, however, $19.6 million at the US box office.
Still made.
It made money, but it was
bank, though.
Considered a failure.
But I consider a failure if you lose money. If you make money, they still made like $5 million.
That's not a lot of money.
It seems to be a lot of money, but yeah. They could have made, 1/3 of another film.
See? Exactly.
Could have added into it. You got any facts about it?
I do. So John Carpenter has cited this as one of his favourite films. And why wouldn't it be?
Just favourite films, not favourite films that he's made, just favourite films.
Why not? He's like, yeah, this is probably my favourite. Now, the opening title sequence, so to create the effect of the title, an animation cell with The Thing written on it was placed behind a smoke-filled fish tank, which was covered with a plastic garbage bag. The bag was ignited, creating the effect of the title burning into the screen.
I actually wrote that in my notes because I knew that one. I just wrote garbage bag title comes up. Because once you know that, you can see the plastic dripping and everything.
Yeah, no, it's always good. So this film also opened the same day as Blade Runner, and both were met with unfavourable reactions from critics, but are now both considered to be some of the greatest films ever made.
That's wicked.
And my other fun fact is it took Kurt Russell a year to grow the beard.
That means he must have known he was going to be in it a year before it. How often? I wonder how much advance do actors know that they're going to be in a film?
I'd say a while.
Because you look at The Machinist, remember that? And that guy, what's his name?
Christian Bale.
Christian Bale lost all that weight and stuff.
Because he basically finished filming Batman and then had to just drop it.
Yeah, he basically had to become buff to to muff. I know that's not a saying.
That is not a saying.
What's it, Sinopo? And it's a tagline.
All right. Man is the warmest place to hide.
Yuck. That sounds like a bit of a maybe an 80s like gay porn title.
A little bit, but also if we think about the film and the era that it came out, like there's a lot of like parallels to the AIDS crisis. So
oh dear.
Maybe. In remote Antarctica, a group of American research scientists are disturbed at their base by a helicopter shooting a sled dog. When they take the dog, it brutally attacks both human beings and canines in the camp, and they discover that the beast can assume the shape of its victims.
It fully didn't really attack anyone.
Not really. A resourceful helicopter pilot and the camp doctor lead the camp crew in a desperate, gory battle against the vicious creature before it picks them all off one by one.
I don't think the doctor had that. I just think it was a resourceful helicopter pilot, full stop.
Yeah.
Unless you count Childs, which was also, I'm pretty sure he was another helicopter pilot.
Yes.
I'm
I
not
don't
sure
feel that
what
he did anything.
I'm not sure what everyone's role was. Like, some of them are scientists. One of them was clearly a sled dog man. I didn't actually know it was a sled dog until you just read that then. I was like, why do they have all these dogs?
I'm like, it was a dog. It's a cute dog.
Was it a husky? No. It's one of those dogs. Sled dog.
Malamute.
And now let's move Malamute. Let's move straight, like the one from the Lost Boys.
Yeah. Yeah. Pretty dog.
Let's move straight into it. So it starts with a black screen, white credits. You know, who's in it?
Yep.
That's all it is.
That's all we need to know. Who's in it? It's a nice soundscape as well. It's very minimalist.
Yeah, it's like, what's going on? And then we see that the darkness opens up to stars, and we're in space. We see a flying saucer zooming through the cosmos. Oh, it's all got electrics happening on it. There's something wrong with it.
Yep.
And it's falling down to none other than planet Earth.
Oh fuck. Something's happening.
And then we get the garbage bag title burn reveal. Like the Thing. Does it say John Carpenter's The Thing? No, it says The Thing.
The Thing
comes up. That name to me is like, yeah, it's wicked.
It's so good.
So a spaceship has crashed on Earth. Who knows when?
I always forget that this scene exists.
So did I.
Always.
I always think it just starts with the dog running.
Because I also don't feel that it is necessary. It's cool, but
yeah, it really is unnecessary, isn't it? Because they really go through it later on.
Yeah.
Anyhow, we open up to a title Antarctica, winter 1982, and we get the music come in. This is the real Thing music for me. This like minimalistic John Carpenter music. You can tell he would have done this music.
He didn't actually.
Oh my shit!
This is one of the only films he did not do his own. He didn't write the theme tune or sing the thing. He didn't do it. Ennio Morricone did it.
Do you reckon he took a vibe from?
He did. Yeah.
Yeah, because the opening is just it's like boom boom.
Yeah, it's real good.
Boom boom, and it's just like boom boom, and I'm like, oh, this is wicked. It's almost like a toned down Jaws theme, like real minimalistic, and you're getting these like shots, like wide shots of like Antarctica's mountain range. So you're seeing these like mountains and white tundras and shit like that.
It's just a lot of nothing. Like, so there's this helicopter flying over just miles of snow and peaks. Like there is nothing.
And on the side of the helicopter, we see Norge. Is that how you say it?
Norge.
Norge. So it's a Norwegian helicopter. Norge? Is that Norge?
I think it was Norge.
Norge?
Yeah.
Is that how you say it? Like an abbreviation of Norwegian? The Norge?
Yep.
I don't know. I don't want to sound racist. And if I do sound racist, I apologize. I'm not meaning to be. I'm just ignorant idiot white man.
I actually had to look up because I didn't want to not know something. So because you know how different European countries have different languages. I'm like, what do they speak in Norway? Is it
Norwegian?
It is Norwegian.
Yeah.
I had to look it up because I'm like, shit, I know nothing about that kind of stuff.
Well, also the characters in the movie didn't know about it. They're constantly getting corrected. Did you notice?
Oh, yeah. He corrects him. He's like, I told you, they are not this guy. They're not Swedish.
They're Norwegian. And yeah, we see this helicopter flying through the tundra and it's chasing, we look down, we see it's chasing a sled dog. Sled dogs are those dogs that we were just talking about there.
They pull sleds.
Yeah. It's thumpering through the snow. The helicopter's close behind it. And I'm like, oh yeah, wow. Where? I've actually got a spelling mistake in my notes here. Instead of writing the word helicopter, I've written shepherd. Damn, autocorrect. Anyhow, we see a guy in the helicopter.
Yep.
He leans out the side, and you can see that he has...
He's got a rifle?
Like a sniper rifle.
He starts shooting at the
And
dog.
starts shooting at the dog. And I'm like,
Like, why the fuck are you shooting at the
And
dog?
straight away, I'm like, is this going to be one of those sad dog death films? And it's not. It's weird, hey? Like, it never... You didn't get... I didn't get anything from this film.
Yeah.
I'm usually the first one. Anyway, we see that we cut to a sign, and it says on it in big letters, United States National Science Institute Station 4.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool.
We know where they are. We get this shot of a group of men playing ping pong and just hanging out in a rec room. So this is the people of the camp. 6 mates.
So we're going to go through... We're going to use everyone's real name in this. We're going to try to, because this is a very character-driven film. So we can't just give everyone nicknames, because you will not know who we're talking about.
Exactly.
I think there's 12 men in this film. There's 12 characters, and that's all that's in it after the Norwegians, these guys. 12 blokes. So you sit back and start to learn these men. I was going to write them all down and go through them at the start, but then I realized no one would remember that.
Yeah, because I can't fucking remember half of them anyway.
The station itself, it's like a small, snowed-in kind of research station. Yeah. It's probably like... It's got like, probably... it's like a small school block, like of classrooms together with a couple of transportables. There's like a helicopter there. There's like there's some sheds and stuff like that. So setting the scene, it's a very small station. It's not like a big base or anything like that. It's enough to house 12 men very closely together.
Yeah, comfortably. So we get this shot of a hand reaching into an ice bucket and dropping it into a glass. He pours in some J&B.
Oh, JB, sponsorship.
Right. And it is Kurt Russell in his beardy, hairy goodness.
Well, usually we would just call him Kurt Russell, but he has the best name in this.
McCready.
We're introduced to bearded McCready.
He is.
Drinking his JB.
He's drinking whiskey and playing Chess Wizard computer.
And this is like this is set in the, computers are black and green.
Yes.
And he's playing against the chess.
Yeah, he's playing against the computer itself. The computer beats him and he immediately pours his whiskey into the drive. Calls her a cheeky bitch.
Cheating bitch.
Cheating bitch.
You cheating bitch.
And walks off.
And that is the last mention of women in the entire film. This is a very manly movie.
This is a sausage fest.
Oh man, this could have been set in the Warhammer universe. Like there are no women in this.
The dog is still being chased by the helicopter, but the dog has now made its way to the base camp. McCready comes out of his room, which is it's like a shack on the outskirts of the actual camp itself.
But it's like up as well. It's like it's kind of a tower shack. Like he's shacked up in a lookout or some shit like that.
Yeah, and he's just standing there. He's now just swigging from the bottle that he's drinking from, and he puts on some really cool sunnies that are kind of like goggles.
Yeah, well, he is in the Antarctic.
It's true. The other inhabitants of the camp have now made their way out because the helicopter sound is obviously...
Yeah, because they're like, why is there a helicopter flying around? It'd be a weird thing out there. They're like, they're in Antarctica. They're like, why is there a helicopter here?
So he's like, oh, that's a Norwegian helicopter. What are they doing here? They don't belong here. It circles back around again, and this time, rather than shooting it, they just start dropping grenades at the dogs.
Grenades.
So,
and they're the worst shots in the world, do you realise? Did you know like the grenades are like 10 Ks away? And I'm like, bit.
It's fine.
Actually, they very much prove that they're terrible at grenades in a sec, don't they?
They fucking do. It's the worst.
So the chopper lands.
Yes.
It comes down, and the dog runs into the camp up to all the blokes. All the blokes have come out. They're all in their winter gear, and the dog runs straight up and runs up to Clark, who is it must have just got the vibe that this dude likes dogs.
Quite possibly.
So he is the dog guy. He is the sled dog guy of this camp. It runs up to him and he's like, "Oh, dog, what are you doing, dog?"
Yeah.
And he obviously just doesn't care.
They have some pats and face licks. It's great. And then once the helicopter has landed, the pilot jumps out with a gun, and then he starts running towards the camp.
Now, first he gets out with he does the grenade thing first.
Does
and then he comes up with a gun. So first he gets straight out.
Blows himself up.
He gets straight out the chopper with a grenade because he had the grenades in his hand. He goes to throw the grenade and does the old classic, ditches it behind him and slips out of his glove.
Fucking idiot.
Lands in the ground. He runs to get it and he blows himself up and the chopper.
Yes.
But at this time, the other guy that had the gun is already out the chopper, and now he is he's going towards the men, yelling in Norwegian at them, and he takes a shot and he hits.
He hits George.
He hits. Is it George?
It's George.
I thought it was. Yes,
It's George.
I forgot about George.
Yep. Yeah, so they fucking blew up their own helicopter.
Good on you guys.
Well done.
Well, they're high stakes.
Yeah. So the dog...
I've written Gary accidentally. Gary's one of the other characters.
Gary's on the inside.
Yeah,
Gary's still inside.
So there's still a couple of dudes inside. Gary's on the inside looking out of this little window. He's like an older dude.
Yeah, he's kind of like knocked out the window with his gun, and he's taking aim. He's getting ready.
Yeah, he has a little hand revolver. And you can tell he might have he's an older dude who like might have been in the war at one stage.
Ex-military,
yeah.
He's been to Nam. McCready still has his whiskey bottle, as everyone has kind of at this point like just taken cover wherever they can.
Yeah, like shit, this dude's shooting at us.
Yes. And then there's some gunfire from outside, and then it's still happening. So he's still walking past, like there is just like, he's still after the dog.
But then all of a sudden, his head gets shot.
Fucking hell.
Gary from inside with his handgun has shot the Norwegian guy in the head because he's clearly a threat. He's already shot one of them.
Yeah,
it makes sense. It's not like out of the blue. They're like,
on you, Gaz.
And that's basically it. Everyone runs out of the common room or from their hiding spots. They all grab fire extinguishers and they go out and they put out their helicopter. I don't know why they did. They're in the snow. What's it going to burn?
It's true. Maybe it could like explode and cause, I don't know.
No, again, they have fuel there, so they probably don't want it to blow up their whole thing. And then, they've just put out this helicopter. McCready comes up and goes, "First goddamn week of winter." I'm pretty sure apart from cheating bitch, I'm pretty sure it's the first line of dialogue in the film.
Yeah. Yes, it is. Which, except for the Norwegian, of course.
Of course.
Norwegian
we never know why he said he's not subtitled.
No, it's really not. That's fine.
I wonder if someone was speaking Norwegian, if someone could understand it. He's probably just saying, "It's an alien. Don't trust it."
Yeah, guys, stop the dog. Anyway, they're making their way.
No. The guy's name that got shot is Bennings. Because everyone's called by their last name.
That's true.
In this film.
It's George Bennings.
But I just called him Bennings from now on.
That's fine.
So Bennings, we cut to in the med station now. Yep. We have the doc. Mm-hmm. So he's just called the doc. There is a doctor, a medical doctor. Everyone calls him the doc.
Yeah.
He is stitching up Bennings. I'm not sure what Bennings does. He is just on campus.
Yeah, no, so I don't understand what a few of these guys do, but that's okay. But they're kind of like giving him shit because it's like, come on, man, it's only 4 stitches. It barely grazed you. Like, you're fine.
He's kind of a weedy dude. He's like the guy that in the 80s, wouldn't get invited to an orgy. He's like that one guy.
He'd be the one who throws the orgy, but no one wants him to be a participant in the orgy.
Yeah. He's got a great house, and everyone goes and drinks his booze, but no one fucks him.
Yeah.
He's that guy.
Poor Bennings.
Bennings.
So US 31 calling on the radio. So we are introduced to a new character called Windows.
Because he's called Windows because he's like he's like Radar from the MASH. He's the guy who like deals with...
He's the radio guy.
Yeah, he's the radio guy. He is like... So he's kind of like the hippie looking dude. He has a beard and big curly hair, a la Kenny Everett or... do you remember Kenny Everett?
Yeah.
Yeah, or that kind of guy.
Yeah.
Beard, curly hair, thin. He wears, he wears like Ray-Bans inside.
Yeah, he's the guy that is in the Antarctic because he dodged the draft.
Yeah.
That's why he's there.
And he's on the radio. So they can't radio out.
They
They're
can't.
Like, shit.
No one's answered in over 2 weeks.
And
they're on their own.
It's the first week of winter and it kind of has a whiteout kind of thing. Mm-hmm. I think that's the right word, actually.
Yep.
And yeah, we cut to a bunch of dudes with the dead Norwegian guy in the medical bay.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's like the whole team, most of the team is there.
This is really good as well because like we get the shot of the Norwegian guy and he's literally been shot through the eye.
Yeah,
and it looks good as well.
Yeah, it's all
so we
frozen.
Getting like a teaser of what is to come.
Oh dear. So they're looking at him and they're like, what are we gonna do? I know there's like the doc is like, there's this Norwegian base down the road.
It's just round back. It's fine.
He goes like, maybe we should go check it out. He goes like, if they're in trouble, I'm a doctor. I want to go help them. And then like McCready's like, I don't know. And then
They're trying to find out the log. So it's like, look, they've only been stationed out there for 8 weeks. Like, that is literally not long enough to go crazy.
They thought they might have cabin fever, yeah.
Yeah, and he's like, there's 10 on the list, so theoretically 8 should be left at the camp. Let's go check it out.
Yep. So the Doc, McCready, and Gary. Mm-hmm. Gary is... I know everyone's called their first name apart from Gary.
Yeah.
Gary is the guy with the gun.
Gary's not at the point... He's not a bro. He's not been given a nickname.
He's not a dude bro yet.
He's not a dude bro
This is basically Dude Bro Massacre 4.
Grown up.
Grown up version. And they have the same, thought about women in this as well as in Dude Bro Massacre. No chicks.
Yeah, pretty much. So they have like this brief conversation like, guys, look, there's an oncoming storm. It's a huge risk for you to go out there. It's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
We'll be gone a couple of hours, hour there, hour back.
I like that there's always shots of like, it's getting, it's too snowy to fly. And they would just fly and they're fine.
Coming, yes.
But there's never a problem.
No.
They never there's no shot of them like crashing or, there's no scene. It's just like McCready, Anyhow, they get ready to go.
Yep.
They come out to meet McCready, and he's wearing the biggest hat in all of history.
it's like a 20-gallon hat.
It's like huge. It's like a sombrero. It's like a cowboy hat the size of a sombrero.
Yes.
It's huge. It doesn't make any sense, and I loved it.
Yes, it is. It's great.
It's to keep the snow off of him. He's dooting around on his helicopter. They come out and they're like, "We're gonna go to the Norwegian camp," and he just kind of looks at the sky, as in like,
he's almost at the point where he's just like licks his finger. He's like, "Well, I don't know. I feel the temperature's gonna drop like 20 degrees in the next 5 minutes."
Yeah, he's like, I was gonna drink a bottle of JB. Like, I have shit to do. But yeah, he's like begrudgingly flies them to this base. We get a shot of the dog. We just see it hanging out.
Yeah.
It's inside.
We get this like pan. It's like laying very inconspicuously under the pool table. Like it's kind of
hanging out with them.
Just there. It's there.
Just a shot of the dog just hanging out. Anyhow, we cut to nighttime.
Niles, he's hanging out in the kitchen, cooking up a storm. Cleaning up, I don't know.
No, this character. He is a roller skating chef.
Yep, he's funky.
He's straight out of the Jackson era.
He is, and he is LL Cool J in Deep Blue Sea before LL Cool J.
Exactly. He's the sixth member of the Jackson 5. He's roller skating around, cooking to his beats and stuff, One of the other guys tells him to turn down his funky beats, and he turns it up.
It's Bennings. He's like, "Can you turn it down? I've just been shot."
Like that matters?
And he's like, "Yeah, all right." He goes over and he's just like, flicks it up a little bit and just keeps going on.
We get a couple more shots of the dog just walking around camp. This is kind of just some character development. We got... Not that Niles has much of a role in this film. He does at the end, but in the middle, he's not really there. So we know Bennings, we know the doc. We've been introduced to Blair as well, who is the other science doctor, not a medical doctor.
Yeah. So the dog walks through the hallway and we see it stops at a room and there is a silhouette on the wall and it walks in the room and the silhouette turns. We do not get to see who is in the room, but this is essentially patient zero. This is the person who the dog is going to infect.
No, we don't know what the dog's doing if we haven't watched it before.
Well, no, we don't know what's going on, but the fucking dog.
So this film relies a lot on, it's basically Knives Out.
Yes.
It's like a whodunit, who is not to be trusted. And that's why you have to really nut your characters down straight away, which they're doing quite well.
Yeah.
And all these characters are very believable. They're all just guys.
Yeah.
They're not like, the scientist isn't like a nerd, they're like McCready isn't like a buff action hero. They're all men.
Yes.
Heaps of them they're overweight. Heaps of them because they're out in the Arctic, they're not fit. They're just men.
Yeah.
They wear jumpers. They wear sweaters.
They put their pants on one leg at a time.
They do. They don't tuck in. No one tucks in. What's the point?
There's no women around. Why would you tuck?
Exactly.
You don't need
I don't even know why they wear clothes.
It's probably really cold.
Yeah, it's right. It's cold. If this was a desert base, they wouldn't be wearing clothes.
Oh no, they'd just be like tidy whities all day, every day.
Yeah, that's how I'd like to be. That's how I imagine it. My scientific life would be.
Yeah, right.
Anyhow, where are we up to? We cut to the chopper.
Yes.
So yeah, on air, the point of the thing, we see this shadow. The dog is hanging out with someone. We don't know who it is. It could be anyone, but the dog is hanging out with someone, which becomes. Yeah, which at this point in the film doesn't mean anything.
No.
We cut to the chopper.
Once again, it's flying over the snow plains, and we see off in the distance smoke billowing from what we assume to be the Norwegian camp.
And like, uh-oh.
Someone has set that motherfucker up in flames.
Hey, land, it's all burnt. It's all wrecked. It's all blowing up. It's all fucked.
And it is seemingly abandoned. No one is to be seen. There's no one outside SOSing. Nothing is happening.
So the doc and McCready and Gary, they get out. They start looking around. They're like, what the fuck's going on? They walk inside. It's all kind of like frozening over because it's all the windows are blowing out and stuff like that.
There's like holes in the wall. So everything is literally frozen over.
They find an axe which is stuck in the door. There's blood around the axe. I'm like, what's going on?
And they kind of start to break through that door, which has been barricaded. So they break through, and again, everything is frozen. It's kind of like almost like the radio room. So there's a lot of stuff happening there.
Yeah, it's kind of the record room. They're going there to find the log of what happened. Like, what's been going on here?
Yeah, and then one of them, I think it's Gary, notices a trail of blood to a body slumped in a chair. And they're like, wait, get over here, check this out. And this looks really cool as well because it is the Antarctic. Everything's frozen. So
it's not just cold in the Antarctic. It is
frozen.
So this guy has committed suicide. It was a bit confusing though because he's also had his throat cut, which I can't see how unless he did that after the fact.
Yeah, I guess you'd
he slit his wrist.
Yes.
And he slit his own throat.
Yeah.
Or maybe someone else slit his throat?
Quite possibly. Don't know.
Don't know. It doesn't make... And yet...
The blood has dripped, but the blood has frozen as it's been dripping out of him. So it is still attached to him, which looks really cool.
Yeah, it's like his arms are down by his side. It's just basically like... He's like... There's blood poles coming out of him, which is very cool. Yeah. And they're like, oh, God. And they're like... they look at him like, my God. What the hell happened here? I've written a couple of cool, manly lines down.
I like it. Yeah, well, what the hell
They find
happened?
a portable video unit, which I'm not quite... do they mean a video camera? I'm pretty sure.
Possibly, yeah.
In the 80s.
Yeah.
Because he goes, look, here's a portable video unit. We should take this.
And they pick up a bunch of pages of research and they're like, why are you doing that? It's like, this could be useful.
Yeah, the doc's all about being useful.
Yeah.
They walk into another room. McCready walks in another room and says, Doc, get in here, look at this. And they find a big room that has a big square bit of ice in it.
Yep.
As in something they have taken out of the ground. And in this bit of ice is a big hole showing that there was something in this ice and now there's not something in this ice.
Uh-oh.
They go outside and they collect all their shit up. They go outside and they find what can only be described as, I've written here, a half-burnt mass of flesh and people parts.
Yes.
So it's a burnt corpses in the ground. They're all melted together in the ground and they're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Let's take this back to the camp.
Something's not quite normal here.
Yeah.
Do you reckon? Yeah.
Anyhow, they cut... we get this shot of these horrible things. It's still smoking. So this has happened
this is within the last 12 hours even.
Yeah,
just happening.
I reckon it's happened in the last hour.
Quite
because
possibly.
I don't feel like stuff wouldn't smoke for very long in the Antarctica.
Yeah, because
and also I reckon it's just as long as it took them to fly the helicopter over the dog.
Quite possibly because the blood looks super fresh as well.
I reckon they'd burnt all these things, thought it was over, and they saw the dog run out, and then they chased it, and that's how. We can only assume. They should make a third Thing movie, which is just the Norwegians, but it's in English.
Sure.
Anyway, we cut to the chopper. They're back. They've come back.
And the dog's watching from the window, looking all shifty-eyed, motherfucker.
He's one of those dogs that has those weird blue eyes. Those
very pretty eyes.
Yeah.
It's a very pretty dog. So they lay out the body or whatever the fuck it is
the blob.
that was burned, and everybody gathers around.
All 12 dudes are there in the medibay.
Time for an autopsy.
They open it up. It's smoking. It's gross. It looks wicked.
It does look wicked, yes.
And this is where this young man... We didn't talk about him.
We haven't. Fawkes.
Wait, no.
Fawkes.
Which one?
The doctor. The young doctor.
He's just called the doctor.
Is he? Well, there's Dr. Cooper, Dr. Blair.
I just call Dr. Cooper Doctor.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, he's the blood doctor.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking about the doc.
Sure.
Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Anyway.
Bunch of dudes. They've opened up this mass of flesh and people and body parts that doesn't make any sense. Mm-hmm. And they're like, Blair, I'd like you to start an autopsy straight away. I spelled autopsy wrong. And it's this glorious flesh mass.
Oh,
it's all steamy.
It's like a nice layer of goo on it. It's all exactly what you want it to be. All purely practical effects as well. And they've cut into it. They're pulling out organs.
No, they haven't done that yet.
Right. Okay, fine.
First we cut to Windows asleep at the radio.
Oh, that's right. Yes.
Gary walks in. Gary's the guy that's got the handgun, Gary. Old Gary.
Oh, Gaz.
Walks in and tells him, have you reached anyone yet? And he's like, man, I can't reach anyone yet. He had some examples of why he can't reach people.
Yeah, like he's listing off a bunch of excuses. Like, we're in the middle of fucking nowhere and nothing works.
Yeah, we're in the middle of nowhere. It's like the start of winter. We can't reach anyone. And Gary's like, just try harder.
Yeah, just you keep going until you reach someone.
Yeah.
So okay.
Then we cut back to the autopsy and we start seeing like them. But I love autopsies in films because, know, they've made these synthetic corpses to cut open and they've got all the layers. I love the one in Independence Day. It's one of my favourites. I love that one.
Yes. So the autopsy, they finalised the autopsy on the Norwegian who was shot in the eye and they're like, yep, come back squeaky clean. Nothing wrong with that guy.
He's been shot in the eye. That's how he died.
Bullet face.
And then we see him cutting open this mass. And he's like, oh my God. Like Dr. Blair's doing this. He's like, oh shit. He's opening stuff up. We're seeing weird things coming out. He's pulling out, he goes, set of lungs.
Yep.
Set of intestines, like human.
It's a heart. This all seems pretty normal on the inside.
Yeah.
Everything's fine. It's a person, presumably. But is it? Because it's melded together.
Yeah. End of that scene. We cut to everyone hanging out in the common room.
They're playing pool, playing poker. It's like a Saturday night at your local RSL.
Yeah, kind of.
The dog walks past and startles George.
George Bennings.
And he kind of complained, like he's actual startled. And he's like, can you take that dog downstairs,
Yeah,
please?
why don't you put that dog... Clark, put this dog with the other ones where he belongs. And Clark's like... Okay.
Yeah.
And Clark, imagine him, he's the Dungeons and Daddy's dad.
He's Daryl Wilson.
He's a bearded guy.
Yeah.
He's into his dogs. He's kind of a big guy, though. He looks like he would have played college football.
He's also husky.
He's a husky, yeah.
He's a husky guy, yeah. He's nice. So he takes them down. He takes the dog down to the kennels with the rest of the dogs. And the dog actually seems very uneasy as it enters the cage with the other dogs.
There's a whole bunch of dogs in there.
They're all kind of lying down.
5 or 6 other dogs. They're chilling on a bit.
Yeah.
It's
Just
like
hay.
a wire fence. There's hay on the ground. They're just like...
So nothing happens, and the dog just sort of just sits.
It sits down like a sphinx.
Yeah,
and it's like completely dead still, just looking forward. It's not looking around. It's not sniffing. And a dog not sniffing is weird. So, and I'm like, that's weird and cool. Like, they made the dog do that, and it's just like staring straight ahead in the sphinx position, which I really like.
And immediately, so Clark leaves. He leaves them be, and the dog just starts this weird, heavy breathing.
And then the other dogs get a real bad vibe. They start snarling at this dog.
They're baring teeth. They're barking, and just as immediately, just fucking its face splits open.
Its face. The dog's face splits open like a flower. It opens up, and its skull falls out.
Yes,
I love that.
Which is fucking cool. And then like this weird tentacle fucking thing is like flopping out of its mouth, and then weird little sort of. How do you describe them? Like little mini tentacles?
Yeah, when the guy did it, they said, we want to, the guy who did the special effects in this film is like some prodigy dude. He was like 22 years old.
He was fucking 22.
22. He did all the practical effects in this film. And they're like, and he had all these ideas, which I assume they use nowadays. Like, so they're like, we really want to have tentacles kind of come out and stuff. And he goes, why don't we just blow air through rubber tubes and put water coming out of them, kind of thing. So all these millions of these little rubber tubes come out.
Yeah.
And they did it kind of in reverse. So they would have had them all coming out and pulled them in.
Yeah.
All splatting out. But this is like, they did it in reverse. So it looks like these tubes, like these tentacles are coming out and splurting liquid everywhere. And all the other dogs go fucking ape shit.
Yeah.
They're like, what the fuck?
Does not like it. One of the dogs it jumps up and it's trying to like bite at the cage, and then thing dog starts
it grows like
spraying something at it.
At first, it grows these big insect-like legs out the top of itself.
This looks really
It
cool.
doesn't even have a
as well.
head anymore because its head is split up.
Yeah.
Like big insect, kind of like praying mantis-y, leggy things. And then, where its head was is kind of like a flower now, and it starts spraying this viscous liquid at one of the other dogs.
Yeah.
And the other dog's like, I hate it. You can see the dog hated it in real life.
No.
He's like, oh, no.
It's the equivalent to being like, get off the couch.
Spraying this like white goop at the other dog. And then kind of like shit hits the fan, the lights get smashed.
Yeah, so a couple of the dogs get grabbed by these tentacle little things.
Yeah, we do a bit of the reverse footage here where they would have wrapped the dogs up.
Because you see it wrapping around its
It
neck.
also kind of spreads tentacles like roots onto the ground, which looks amazing. Like, this is another reverse shot. So this is where you're like, holy shit! When you're watching this, it's so much. There's so much like attention to detail and so much happening in these shots that like we're probably only going to bang on about it once, and then just assume that every one of these things just happens. Like so much detail, so much cool shit. Anyway.
Clark comes back because he wants to see what all the hubbub is. Why are the dogs barking? And immediately as he comes back, everything goes silent. He opens the cage and two dogs kind of barrel away and manage to run out. And Clark sees what's in there and he slams the door. And you just see the dog just sort of sitting, tentacling like.
It's not even a dog anymore. It's just it's a
thing.
mass. It's a mutant, I called it.
Yeah.
He sees the mutant. Then we cut to McCready getting a beer.
Yep, he's out of his whiskey, and he hears the commotion, and he sounds the fire alarm.
Yeah, he's getting a beer out of the fridge. He hears the commotion and instantly just goes, "Shit's fucked," and just puts the fire alarm on. He's just like, "Nah, there's something wrong."
Well, I guess as well, like that's part of the reason why you've got dogs there is because they can sense when something is wrong. So if the dogs are making a real ruckus, shit's wrong.
Yeah. So he pulls the fire alarm, and that kind of brings everyone to the kennel for some reason.
Yeah, so they all come to Clark, and he's like, he just calls out, like, get the flamethrower.
Yeah, you get the flavor, and he goes like, and he says that great number. I don't know what's in there, but it's weird and pissed off.
McCready, he opens the cage, and he just sees all this shit happening, and it's so sad. Like, they see what's happening to the other dogs as well, and they just start shooting the dogs.
No, basically, first we see like a shot of one of the other dogs, and like the one that got sprayed is like half melting now from the spray, and there's tentacles kind of writhing around it, like melting it and
assimilating it,
absorbing it. That's what I'm trying. And then McCready looks at that. Then we get a shot of everyone getting out of bed because like the alarm's going off. They're like, "What the fuck? What's going on?" Like, and then we get a shot. Bennings runs to Childs. In this section, like all the dudes getting out of bed, and he goes, "McCready wants a flamethrower," and he's like, "McCready wants what?" So Childs must be the guy who's always in charge of the flamethrower for some reason.
Yeah, he pulled the long straw. He wanted that fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we cut to the whole gang now is in the doorway of the dog pen, just looking. McCready has a shotgun.
Yep.
Now for some reason.
Yes. So yeah, they've taken out the dogs to end their suffering, and the thing mutant dog, it kind of jumps up towards the roof.
But now it's a hairless, massive dog.
Yeah, and it grows these weird arms. So like it sort of grows the weird arms up, and it's just like
it grows like claws
up to the roof, so it can kind of pull itself up.
Yeah, there's like a chin up into the roof, and like buff dude arms come out of it, and
later.
Yeah, and basically puts out a bunch of tentacles.
Yep. And then Childs comes in, he lights that motherfucker up with the flamethrower.
Yeah, it lights him up.
Everything goes on fire. And then once again, we now get another monster autopsy. And this looks really good as well. Like, the effects are just...
Yeah, so basically the flamethrower killed it. That's what we can assume.
Yeah, we are under the assumption that fire is good. Kills monster.
We see like in this mass, like another shot of like everyone is looking at this smoking mess. There's eyes in it. We can see like human eyes just in masses of flesh. There's rogue mouths. It's basically like a Cronenberg fucking wet dream.
Pretty much, yeah. Because I mean, from what we are understanding of whatever this is like, has it consumed other things?
We can see bits of dog in it. There's like dog heads and stuff that are merged into other shit. Yeah.
Everything's melded into one. And then because all this is happening, and then Dr. Blair, he's going through another autopsy.
We kind of missed out on the bit where the flower bit comes out.
Oh, it's like... Blah, 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 blah,
No, and then because Child flames the monster, but just before like a big flower comes out. Anyway.
Yeah.
And then they put it out with the extinguisher. And then we cut to the next day, and then everyone's looking at the dogs. So we're back to where we were. Yeah.
Yeah. And Blair sort of, he turns around. He's like, he gives them the 411 on what's happening. And he's like, you see what we're talking about? Here is an organism that imitates other life forms. And it imitates them perfectly. When this thing attacked our dogs, it tried to digest them, absorb them, and then in the process shape its own cells to imitate them. This, for instance, that's not dog. It's imitation. We got to
and he's pointing at a dog.
Yeah, there's like a few
that's not
bits
dog.
on it. Yeah,
that's not
like,
dog.
We got to it before it had time to finish.
Imitating these dogs, yeah.
Yep. So Dr. Cooper, the other doc,
Dr. Cooper, hanging
with Dr. Cooper. Fuck yes. He's sedating the remaining dogs, and just sort of like he's talking to Clark like, how long were you left alone with that dog? And this is the first time that we start to see suspicions rolling around.
Yeah, but Blair's also saying to Clark, did you see anything strange about the dog? And he's like, no. Strange?
It's
no.
a dog.
How long were you alone with that dog? And he's like, I don't know, an hour and a half. And he's like, why are you looking at me like that? And he goes, it's nothing, just a hunch, yeah. Blair. And Blair's already clicked on to, he kind of knows, like, I don't know how he knows, but he knows straight away kind of what's going on. Like, yeah, it seems weird that these dogs are assimilating. Yep. How do they do it?
Mm. So we get this, they're now watching, they've pulled out the Norwegian tapes and
they're watching the portable video device.
They are. And they're watching this video of them drilling into the snow and ice, and we can see something buried under the ice. They start using thermite charges, and they're like, whatever it was big, and it was bigger than that block of ice you found.
Yeah, we kind of see like this blurred footage of like these Norwegians standing what would be around, a circle of where this thing is that they're in, and like what is this huge like oval-sized area they are that they're blowing these charges out of. And then McCready's like, let's go there.
He's like, yeah, let's just go check it out. So yeah, they head.
They get in the helicopter.
Get to the chopper, and they head over, and we see this massive crater in the ice. And there is a giant spaceship.
Seems like they've been there for longer than 8 weeks.
Yeah. So it's this giant spaceship at the bottom of a crater. And
it's a flying saucer from the start of the film, Jen.
It really would have thought? Is. Oh, my God.
Yeah, you're right. You didn't need that bit at the start.
So convenient. No, you really don't.
It's so ham-fisted.
A little bit. So they spelunk down to take a closer look. And the Doc Cooper, he's like, the ice it's buried in is 100,000 years old.
So that shot we watched was 100,000 years in the past?
Yes. So it crash landed so long ago. He's like, I don't know, thousands of years ago it crashed, and this thing gets thrown out or crawls out and ends up freezing in the ice. I don't know. And then they have like a group chat.
Well, they find the hole. They find the square hole a bit like...
it's just like a kilometre or something
20 metres or whatever away from the thing. So they're like, he's was. So they're like, okay, cool. I don't know why they didn't investigate more of the ship.
Yeah, you would think that, okay, we found an alien spacecraft. Let's go check it out.
No.
Just
leave it.
Let's just go back to the
trouble.
Base. It's beyond my pay grade, mate.
Like, they didn't have the budget to make a whole alien spaceship.
No.
They cut back to the camp. Mm-hmm. They're all back now.
Yep.
And McCready's explaining it all to the gang of what they found and stuff like that.
Yep.
Then we get Chef Niles. He rolls in, literally, on his roller skates. He goes, which one of you have been tossing the dirty underwear in my trash?
Dirty drawers.
Dirty drawers.
Yeah.
He's pissed off because someone has thrown ripped up, dirty clothes. And what are they?
It's like long johns.
Long johns. There in his kitchen trash.
Yeah. And
he tosses that in.
All of the clothes have name tags on them, but these don't. They've been ripped off.
Someone ripped off. He goes like, He tosses them into the room. McCready picks them up for a couple of seconds. Looks at them and puts them down again.
Yeah.
It's a passing phase, but it needs to be mentioned because it comes up later.
It does. Dr. Blair
Cut to him.
He's in his little room.
His
and
laboratory.
he is running some computer rendition of a simulation of animal cells on his computer, which is cool.
Black and green screen. Like,
Definitely. It's like this little thing making its way downtown, eating something. And he literally presses 2 keys and it pops up with probability that 1 or more team members may be infected by intruder organism, 75%.
Uh-oh.
Fuck. There could be more than one of them. And then he like taps another couple. It's like projection. If intruder organism reaches civilized areas, entire world population infected. 27,000 hours from first contact.
It's not 27,000 hours, 2,700 hours.
Apologize. Yeah. That's just over 3 years.
Is it?
I think so.
Nah.
No?
If it was 20... How long is that? Wait,
I don't know.
How many hours are in a year?
I don't know.
How many hours are in a day? 24.
You're doing the math right
I'm going
now.
to do the math right now. First, I have to find the calculator on my phone. So
you're doing that math.
So 24 times... What is it? 360... How many days in a year?
365.
365 equals... What, hours? So there's that much in a year.
8,700.
So it's about... It's only a couple of months.
Okay, there you go. I can't do math.
No, because you thought it was you thought it was 270,000.
I did. I thought it was so much more. Anyway, Doc, he kind of scratches his noodle a little bit and he opens his desk drawer and pulls a gun. And he knows what's up. He knows what's going to happen. He knows.
He worked it out very quickly.
He did.
But he
He's
keeps
smart.
it to himself.
He does. Well, you would, because if you're the only person who knows, you don't want to cause panic.
Yeah, he stays in his hut. But he's got his gun now.
Yep.
And he's very concerned. Anyway, cut back to McCready drinking.
He's once again, he's drinking his whiskey and checking out them drawers.
Yeah, the undies. He's like sitting there stewing, going, got my JB, got these ripped up undies. Think I'm forming a thought.
Gonna have a sniff.
Gonna have a thought think.
Bennings and Windows pop in and they're like, oi, you need to go collect your stuff from whatever room it is because they got to put some bodies in there.
Yeah, we're going to move like the big monster flesh dog mass into the storeroom. Get your shit out of there.
Yeah. So he goes off to collect his stuff and while he's doing that, he heads out. He notices Fawkes is there. He heads out and he needs to have a chat. Fawkes is the younger scientist. So he's the...
Fawkes. He's the... I call him the blood doctor.
Yeah, the blood doctor.
He's like the hematologist?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So Windows and Bennings,
yeah,
they're in the room.
They bring in the blob monster in a blanket.
Yes.
He's all wrapped up because...
And they have like a conversation. They feel that they should probably burn it. It's like, we should probably get rid of this and burn it.
And he's like, no, man, it's a find of the century.
Why would you burn the find of the century?
But he's like, that's going to... win someone else the Nobel Peace the
Nobel Peace Prize.
And I'm like, why not you guys?
Yeah.
No, someone else.
So Windows, he leaves George alone for some reason. George is still there. He's like going through some stuff, grabbing some stuff down. And we see this very quick shot of some blood ooze dripping from the two-faced corpse that's sitting there.
Yeah, the blood, the flesh mass is starting to melt a bit.
It is. They think that there is something wrong with the doc. And they start reading his journals. Is Fox reading it?
We're talking about Blair.
Blair, yeah.
Yeah, so well, basically, Dr. Cooper.
Yes.
He asked to talk to McCready in private, and he's like, I need to talk to him in private. Come. And they go and talk in private in like the snowplow.
Yeah, that's right.
So they go out to the snowplow, and he's like, Blair's locked himself in his room.
Yeah.
And then he's found Blair's journal, and he's like, he reads lines like, it can imitate you by just spending time with you. The cells in the creatures were not dead.
Yeah.
So they're like, and then McCready looks at, he's like, basically, the look on his face is like, fuck.
Yeah. He's like, their remains, they ain't dead.
So basically, yeah, so McCready now and Cooper know that Blair knows what's going on, he's kept it to himself, and he's hiding in his room. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Windows comes sauntering back into the room, which is now full of blood. And
into the storeroom.
Back into the storeroom. And we see that Bennings is now being assimilated to the the thing.
But we also see a bunch of ripped up clothes with blood all over them.
Yeah, and he's kind of on this chair and he is shirtless.
Yeah,
and he's kind of like...
He's kind of melting a bit. He's like liquidy. There's tentacles around him. He's like...
Yeah. So it's sort of coming into him and he fucking... Windows just bails off to go get Mac.
Yeah, Windows like, fuck this shit. I ain't paid enough. He doesn't say that at all.
Bennings escapes through the window and he heads out into the snow and everyone takes chase after him. They surround him and he's kind of like kneeling on the ground. You can see that his arm is like this like giant fucking thing.
Well, both his arms are like
they're not
things.
Quite. Yeah, they're not.
And also, Windows went and got Dr. Cooper McCready from the snowplow. So everyone is out.
The gang's all here.
Around Bennings, who's now like letting out this inhuman
sound.
Oh
my God, it's disgusting. And he's just looking creepy.
And he's got these crab claws for arms. He's like, have you seen that new movie that's got the two superheroes in it? It's like a comedy.
Is it the one with Melissa McCarthy?
Is that the Ghostbusters lady?
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet.
But there's a character in that who is played by, what's his name from Arrested Development? The main character.
I don't know that guy.
Yeah,
I know the guy you're talking about.
Yeah, and he's got crab claws for arms. It reminded me of that. Like, he's called
great.
The Crab.
Oh, okay.
Jason Bateman.
That's right.
Yeah. Anyhow, he's got his crab claws. He's yelling. He's on the ground, like kneeling. He doesn't even know what's going on. He's like,
yeah. So it hasn't had time to like figure out what is happening, what it is. It hasn't had a chance to do anything yet.
Yeah, they're like Bennings, and like someone yells, "Don't! This isn't Bennings anymore." Because who says that? McCready? Oh no, Dr. Cooper.
Somebody says it.
Someone who knows what's going on. It's either Bennings or Dr. Cooper because they're the only ones who know what's going on apart from Blair.
Yep, and they basically just set him on fire.
Yeah, they're like, you know what? No, yeah, McCready kicks over a barrel of fuel and then lights it on fire, and they basically just have a Bennings barbecue.
Yeah,
and it's stand around him and watch him burn. And McCready looks at everyone else. He goes, "Got to burn the rest of them as well," as in the corpses they got in the storage room.
Yep. So they start to make a very snowy fire pit. So they basically like just snowplow a bunch of snow together to make a kind of like a little
fire pit.
And they basically just light it all up with the flamethrower.
Yeah, they put the corpse that they bought back from the Norwegians. They put the dog corpse, like flesh mass in there. They put probably Bennings, a bit more of him in there.
Whatever's
Everything
left of
that's
Bennings.
mutinized, they've popped in this hole and they've burnt it, and that's it. From what I can tell is like the burning doesn't kill it. It just makes it. It just stops it.
Yeah.
And then the way to kill it is not you can't, but you cover it with snow and it goes to sleep.
Well, that's the thing. Like,
and they're like, someone else's problem.
Well, that's right. That you got to kind of bury it in the snow. So they should really just be going out into the middle of nowhere, digging a very, 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 very big hole, and just like.
You should have put it back in with the alien ship.
And then covered it up.
Anyhow, I cover it up, done. And then you're like, well, that if they'd done that sooner or whatever, but now you're like, so there's those monsters are taken care of. But now it's like, who else is it assimilated perfectly?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So now it's all coming out.
I heard it assimilates you perfectly, except it just gives you a massive dick. So you had to like have a bit where you inspect all each other's dicks.
Let's drop trowel.
Drop it down.
Because they go into the camp and they already know each other's dick size.
Oh, you do.
Now they're like, you know.
Oh, man, you've been there for at least a couple of weeks. You would have had a dick off by now.
You would have had a dick off within the first 20 minutes. It's like, all right, guys, what's the first thing we do? All right, take your pants
dick
off.
That didn't happen. That's not part of the story. Sorry about that.
That is not.
Anyhow, they cover up the burner and then they're like, they go find Blair and they can't find Blair.
Yep.
And then they're like, where's Blair? He's not in his cabin.
Yep, he's nowhere to be found. And Windows, he's in the radio room and everyone else is in the rec room. And Mac spies...
McCready.
Mac McCready.
Yeah, they do call him Mac a couple of times.
They do. He spies the doc jumping out of the helicopter. And he goes... Blair, yep, sorry. Blair, and he goes off to investigate. The chopper has absolutely been wrecked.
Yeah, the whole dash is out. There's wires sparking even though there's nothing on.
No. And McCready, he goes running into the camp. Doc is now in the...
We hear a gunshot.
We do. Blair is in the radio room and he's just going crazy.
He's got an axe and he's smashing up the radio. So he's like... He's
also got a gun.
He's gone troppo, as I've written. He's basically he realizes how much of a threat this is to the world and he's like taking it upon himself to destroy the radio so it can't... he realizes that they're a lost cause.
Yeah, the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
Exactly.
So,
So Blair
he's like,
isn't
no
a bad
one is
guy.
getting
If
in
anything,
or out.
Blair has got it together quite well.
Well,
Except he does it in a very crazy way.
he does, but you kind of wonder, has he been assimilated? Like, is he one of the things? Is, the suspicions
Yeah,
are
but
there.
the thing wouldn't destroy radio contact.
No, it
'cause
would
the thing
kind of be
wants to
wanting-
assimilate other people. Yeah,
Yeah.
so... And we see Windows. He's cowering in the corner. Blair has obviously bonked him on the head, and he's a lover, not a fighter. He's the one who does get sex at orgies.
Yes.
Yeah,
he would be.
He's the one that just rocks up. He didn't bring a drink. He didn't bring any snacks.
He wasn't even invited.
No, he wasn't even invited. But they're like, "Yay, Windows! Come donk me."
It's a good party when Windows rocks up.
We see Childs runs in as well, and he because the gang now are hiding. They're kind of hiding in the hallway, because they're like,
Yeah.
we can't run in. He's got an axe and he's going crazy. And so Childs runs up as well, and he's like, he's gone crazy. He killed the rest of the dogs as well. And then
he's destroyed the chopper, the tractor, and he's killed the dogs.
Clark, when he hears about the dogs, you see him go, "Oh fuck my dogs!" He runs off.
He runs.
He
It's
runs to go
sad.
see his dogs because he's he's dog bro.
He loves the dogs.
Oh, it's his job.
And then McCready and Childs, they rush in to try and take him down.
Childs, McCready goes to Childs, go around the other side and talk to him to put him off. And then McCready gets a table. He goes, "Go get me a table."
Yeah.
So he gets him a portable table. And so Childs goes to talk to Blair on the other side of the room, and he takes because he's got a gun. He takes a shot at Childs, which misses him. And at that point, when his back's turned, McCready runs in with the table as a shield. Childs goes to swing the axe at him, but the axe gets stuck in the table. And then they kind of all just pile up on top of Blair and just punch him out.
Yeah. Sorted.
Sorted.
They lock Blair up in the tool shed for his own good,
We also cut to Clark upset looking at his dead dogs for a little while.
I didn't want to mention, because that was so heartbreaking, seeing that dog with the axe in its throat. I didn't like that at all. No.
So they lock Blair up in his room, and his room he's in
He's in the tool shed. They lock him in the tool shed.
tool shed.
Yeah.
He's out in an outdoor tool shed, so he's not part of the main camp. So it's somewhere they can lock him.
He's quarantined.
He's quarantined. We understand that.
We do.
He's quarantined in the tool shed with a whole bunch of tools to make things.
Yeah. And he's just like...
And they sedate him as well. They give him
Yeah.
an injection, and he's kind of calmed down now. And everyone leaves the room. And as McCready's the last to leave, and Blair says to him, "McCready, I don't know who to trust."
Yep. Watch Clark and watch him close.
Yeah, Blair says,
Yeah.
"Watch Clark and watch him close." Because Blair is convinced that Clark is one of the monsters because he had...
Well, he's the one who spent the most time with the dog.
the dag.
Yeah.
Or did he?
Oh.
We don't know who the shadow was. But then again, he did put the dog in there. I don't know. There's not quite... Because at first when I watched this as a kid, I thought you just had to spend time with him. But no, it actually has to grab you, dissolve you, and then become you. So it's not instant. So I always thought it was really scary, the fact that you just had to spend time with them.
Oh, okay.
I thought, because they said that, how much time did you spend? I thought, fuck, does it just absorb you out of existence? No, it actually has to grab you, kill you, absorb you, then change into the thing, and that's its weakness. It's
got to change clothes as well.
It has to grab clothes and stuff like that. Anyhow.
Yeah. So they've come to the realization that they are completely cut off to civilization. They are in trouble, and the best thing that they could possibly do is just wait until spring. But then McCready, he's just like, fuck that. We need to know who it could be, because...
He says someone in this camp isn't who they seem to be.
Yes.
And he asked Dr. Cooper's like, "Is there a test we can do?" And he's like, "Well, we do have samples of everyone's blood. I could do a test, I'm sure." He starts working on some way to create a test. I'll just see who is not a human.
Yeah. He basically...
Even though it replicates you down to your cellular form, so it would just be fine. It would be a pretty hard test to create.
Well, I think as well, because if it's still in the process of hasn't finalized its assimilation, then there's still a possibility.
Anyhow, we cut to Doc Cooper in his lab. He's like, guys, Get in here. Someone has fucked up all the blood samples. They have destroyed them already.
Fuck.
And they're like, the blood. Who had access to this? And like,
It's immediately they start like pointing finger. It's not. They're not even playing polite. It is immediately like, who has access to this? Like you.
Doc Cooper's like, I'm the only one who has access to this.
You're the only one who has access to the keys. He's like pointing at Gary. So
Gary's
they
the only one
start
who has the
finger
key.
pointing at these guys.
Gary, I think, is security of the place because he's
Yeah.
got a gun and he has access to keys and stuff like that. So Gary, old man Gary's like, well, yeah, someone could have lifted them off me.
Yep.
As in, I love the word lifted. And they're like, everyone's just suddenly like, bullshit. And then they're like, well, it wasn't me. And everyone starts to not trust everyone. And this is where you get the majesty of this film. It's a bunch of manly men who just don't know how to deal with any. It's a threat they can't just punch in the face.
Yeah.
And they don't know what to do. They're like, but no.
Because it's these people that they've known for quite a long time, and they're all together. They've been together there for however long, and all of a sudden they can't trust them. It'd be very stressful.
And it turns into a yelling match. They
It
all just
really
start
does.
yelling at each other. Poor Windows. He stresses out. He doesn't like people yelling. He runs down the hall and he smashes into the gun locker. They have heaps of guns here. I don't know what. So there's about 7 shotguns. Windows gets out a shotgun. He starts to do it. Gary runs down with his little handgun and he points at Windows. He's like, put down the gun. Mm-hmm. And, McCready comes in. He's like, fuck, dude.
It's like, let everybody calm down,
Dudes.
okay? Like, just, chill. Shh, blue oceans.
Yeah, they calm down. Gary realizing that, like, with all the mistrust in this room, that, like...
Well, a lot of that mistrust is being directed at Gary as well.
him. He's
So
like, I think everyone would feel better if someone else was in charge. So he puts down the handgun and he goes, I nominate Norris. Norris, who hasn't been in the film really much. Norris is an overweight, curly-haired, orange-haired man.
wearing a Pamela Voorhees sweater.
Yep, Pamela Voorhees' sweater. So I can imagine him, like, if anyone was, say, which one of these people looks like Jabba the Hutt, it would be him. Norris, he's like, nah. He turns down the job. He's like, I'm not really up to it. I don't really want to be the leader kind of thing. And out of nowhere, McCready just picks up the gun. He's like, I think we need someone a bit more evenly tempered.
Yeah, a little bit more level-headed.
As in talking about himself. The guy that drinks a lot of scotch should be the guy with the gun.
Yeah. And he starts to give a speech about vulnerability. He's like, we're all vulnerable. Like, that's it. Like, there's a storm coming in 6 hours and we are going to find out. He's like, one way or another, we're going to find out who is who.
They burn all the blood samples now because the blood samples could be infected.
Yes.
And they could have been, whatever.
And they basically put Gary and Doc Cooper and Clark... They get forced into a quarantine because they are all pretty certain that if anyone is going to be the thing, it's going to be these 3.
Yeah, because Clark was with the dogs. Gary was like the only one who supposedly had the key to the blood locker. And who's the other one?
Doc Cooper.
Doc Cooper had access to the blood locker. So in their simple man minds, they're the only ones that can be. So they quarantine there.
Yep.
And then McCready says a line here like, I know I'm human. Does that happen here?
So they kind of drug them, they sedate them, and that's about it. Because then we cut back to McCready in his room, and he's on the tape, and he's like, I'm going to hide this tape when I'm finished. If none of us make it, at least there will be some kind of record. The storm's been hitting us hard now for 48 hours. We still have nothing to go on. One other thing. I think it rips through your clothes when it takes over you. Windows found some shredded long johns, but the name tags were missing.
So it means one man at least is not who he seems.
They could be anybody's. Nobody. Nobody trusts anyone now, and we're all very tired.
McCready's sitting there. He's coming up with a plan.
He is formulating.
The little cogs are starting to turn.
Yep. And who does he go visit? But Fawkes.
Dr. Young.
Yes.
Doctor not old. Blood doctor.
Yeah. And he lets him know, he's like, Fawkes lets him know that everyone should start prepping their own meals and eat out of cans.
Yeah, why not?
So as he's saying that and McCready leaves, the light starts to dim and he lights a candle. Someone walks past and runs outside and he basically follows after.
What's going on? So the power's gone out.
Yeah.
Basically.
So he's outside now and he's investigating and he lights a flare. He's trying to have a look around and he finds some torn clothes with McCready's name on it.
Printed on them. Uh-oh.
Fucking McCready.
Oh, just on the this is a really confusing bit of the film, actually.
Yeah.
So Dr. Cooper, Blood Dr. Cooper, he's walked outside with a flare. He's found McCready's clothes all torn up. Is his name Fuchs? How do you say his name? Fuchs.
Yeah.
Fuchs. And they're Fulch.
Yeah.
Fulches, or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's his name?
Yeah.
Dr. Fulch?
Dr. Fox.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then like that scene's over, and then it cuts to them not being able to find him.
Yeah, so they go out to the tool shed to check on Doc Blair and be like, have you seen Fox? At this point, like, as well, what I really kind of find funny is, like, he's sitting there in his, like, long johns, he's kind of eating something or doing something, he's just tied a noose, and the noose is just sort of hanging there, just inconspicuously, it's fine, and he's like, I don't know where he is, just please let me back in the side,
like, I'm better now.
There ain't nothing wrong with me, like, let me back in, and, McCready's like, fuck that noise.
Yeah, he's like, nah.
He just shuts the door on him and, walks off.
So then they find Fulch's body.
Yes.
All burnt up.
Yes.
Is it Fulch though?
Yes.
Just out of the blue, just all burnt up.
Like, go tell the others. And then McCready, he's like, well, what are you going to do? He's like, I'm going back to my shack. And he's like, why? And he's like, I didn't leave the lights on.
Yeah, I went out there yesterday and I didn't leave the lights on. And we can see the lights are on in his shack.
Yep.
It's getting pretty stormy now as well. Mm-hmm. And it's nighttime, by the way.
Yes.
Because that's why his lights are on. Then we cut back to the gang, kind of just waiting for the others to come back. So McCready, Niles, and someone else went up to McCready's shack.
Yes.
To check it out.
I think it was just the two guys. I think it was just Niles and McCready.
McCready and Niles, yeah. Yep.
And they're kind of sort of standing at the window looking. They're like, how long have they been out there now? And they start, okay, let's just start boarding up. So they just start closing all the doors, boarding up the windows. And they then spy out of the window. They spy Niles heading back.
By himself, all cold.
All by himself. They open the...
And there's a storm happening now.
Oh, yeah. So it's like minimal visibility. They need, like, ropes. There's ropes everywhere.
Yeah,
so you can find your way back.
Yeah, so they tie ropes between the buildings so you can walk along and not get lost in the thing. And he's like... He says, he goes, I was out there with McCready and I found a torn up shirt with his name on it. Yeah. And he said, I kept it to myself, but on the way back, I cut him loose.
Yeah.
I cut him loose, as in he cut the snow line, and so McCready's now lost out in the snow. He's gone. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Tensions are high.
Fucking hell. And then they all start kind of fighting again because that's what you do.
Yeah, they just start.
What are we going to do? Like, everyone's scared. Tensions are high. It's what you do. The door handle starts rattling. And they're like, oh, it's him. McCready's trying to get in.
So now they're convinced that it's McCready because they found evidence that it's McCready. Torn up clothes. They don't open it. They're like, nah.
Yeah.
And then they suddenly hear a smash and they're like, oh, the supply window.
Yep. So Childs grabs an axe and they start cutting into the door
of the supply room because McCready is in there. Mm-hmm. And now they burst in.
And McCready is there and his beard is all frozen and he has a stick of dynamite and he lights the flare.
No, he's actually got dynamite all around.
It's all around him.
It's like a suicide vest.
Oh, he gonna take
before they were in vogue. Yeah, he has the flamethrower and, a dynamite stick. He's threatening. He's like, if anyone messes with me, the whole camp goes up. And suddenly, McCready's in charge again.
Yep. Well, that's how most people
But it's like
get power.
everyone thinks now, they are 100% sure that McCready is a bad guy.
Yep.
McCready has them all kind of a hostage with this dynamite. So there are a lot part of this film from now on, if you can imagine. Everyone is kind of looking at McCready, waiting for an opportunity to open to take him out.
Yep.
But
Two of them do. I think Vance definitely does. And
Niles and Norris.
Yep.
And Norris, fat man Norris, try to grab McCready, but McCready just
he kind of just steps aside. And he's
pushes
like,
him off.
No.
And Norris falls over because he's so he's so tubular. He falls on the ground. He starts having a heart attack.
Oh no, not a heart attack! Get the duck and bring the others.
Yeah, McCready's like, get
no
Norris to the Medi Bay.
Yeah, no one is leaving my sight.
Yeah, so McCready's still there with the dynamite and the flamethrower in the Medi Bay with everyone. Like, McCready's in ultimate defensive mode.
Oh yeah, he is just ready. Like he's like one side look away from just lighting everyone on fire.
Yeah, just killing everyone and it's sorted.
He'll do it. Yeah.
You know, and he's like, he goes, I'm not the thing. McCready's like, I'm not it. Someone has framed me. Someone framed by ripping up my clothes and putting in the thing. Like you'd ever believe that.
No.
And then meanwhile, the doc he's like doing CPR onto Norris and that. Yep. And he's like, it's not working. Get out the fucking defibrillators. His heart's stopping.
Yes.
You know, what do they think? Yeah, that's what they call it. The things that go clear and then like hit him on their chest.
Exactly. And he's basically like on top of him. He is straddling him and he gets handed the defibrillators and he goes to sort of jam them into his chest. But fucking what happens instead? Norris's whole abdomen basically opens up to reveal some kind of like mouth, and his hands go right through as well. This looks really cool. This is done so like it's just like a split second. So whatever they did to it was just so good. And his hands go in, the mouth shuts, the teeth go into it, and he is basically like his arms get ripped off.
Yeah. So now Doc doesn't have any arms. They've been bitten off by Norris's chest mouth.
And then of course, like you know, like all this crap starts coming out of the chest
Norris
as well.
Is like, so this is all practical. Norris's body on the table starts convulsing and shaking. All these, like, we can only assume are those rubber tubes with air rubbing through them and liquid starts.
Yeah, a whole new fucking head comes out.
Yeah, a whole mass just comes out of Norris and like kind of grabs onto the ceiling. It has like a long elongated neck with Norris's head on it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like
Norris's new head.
Norris's better head. Mm-hmm. At least it's got it on a thin body now. So obviously it's been interrupted. Like I think he did defibrillate him once, didn't he? And then he went for a second round.
I think so.
And that's probably what woke it up. It was like it was kind of making itself inside Norris or some shit. Who knows?
He was busy. He was hanging out. You know.
Anyway, it's this thing. It's attached to the ceiling. It's got like insect kind of arms holding it up on the ceiling. It's got like Norris's head on a big fucking tentacle neck. It's disgusting.
It's so cool.
And it still has like organs and masses connecting itself to Norris's body on the table.
Yeah.
It's all animatronic. It's all slimy. It's all moving.
So cool.
And McCready just fucking...
Yeah, he just lights it up. But as he's lighting it up, what he doesn't realize is Norris's actual head, the real Norris's head, is pulling itself off. It is literally stretching off of the body, and you can see the flesh pulling and ripping.
And it's kind of ripping, and we see these organs inside. They're all like long tubes that are popping like blisters and stuff. And I'm like, man, this looks
so good.
And the whole, like Norris's head, I reckon a lot of money went into this head. It is completely animatronic. Its mouth is opening and closing. Its eyes are opening and closing. Mm-hmm. It's full moving the whole time. So it doesn't look like a mannequin head. It looks like a head.
They've done like a full cast of him. They've done something.
It's wicked. And it kind of stretching out and it flops over the edge of the table and it slowly blobs down. Yeah. Onto the ground, and no one sees this happening because it's like on the other side.
They're busy focusing on the giant Norris head that's happening.
Yeah, and then its mouth opens and a tentacle comes out and kind of whiplashes itself to a chair.
Yeah, so it can drag itself along
the ground. And it drags its head along the ground. It's also animatronic. It's all moving and shit. No one's noticing that because they're all like concentrating on this flaming body. They're always arguing. They're always
Meanwhile,
yelling.
This is also, it starts like all the spider legs start growing out of its head, which they did, they paid homage to that in the second It movie. I don't know if you saw that or noticed it. Yeah. With the kid and his little head and that was cool. And then it goes and hides under the
it also grows tentacle eyes on stalks like a snail. And it's like it can walk now. It's like a spider, but the head is upside down, but it has its own eyes coming out. And like, this is a great scene. You see it like trying to bail. It's trying to escape because it's like, oh fuck, they got a flamethrower. I'm just ahead now. I got to just crawl out of the room.
It kind of peeks out front of the table. It's like, yeah, I can make it.
Yeah. And you see everyone looking towards the camera, and you see in the background this little head trying to run out the room, and then we see what's the guy's name? Like
McCready turns around.
No, it's the other guy. It's the punk guy who's another Palmer.
Yeah.
Palmer, who, like, if you can imagine, he wears like a sleeveless denim jacket.
Yeah.
He's like an Vietnam vet I got from him. Like,
Yeah.
you know, the dudes are like...
He's the guy that had too much fun.
Too much fun in Vietnam. He's thin. He was probably on the gear for a while.
Yep.
Now he's off of it. And he looks around. They all kind of look around at the same time and see this head walking out the room. And Palmer's like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And instantly McCready just lights his head up on fire.
He just turns around and just...
He doesn't even batter an eyelid. He's like, I'm used to this now. Great scene. Like, oh man, like the gore and the there's so much detail and beautiful blobbiness happening. And
like I just really want to find documentary. This is why I buy DVDs, because I want all the special features. I want to learn and see what they did.
Blu-rays have special features on them as well.
Whatever, Blu-rays, DVDs are cheaper. I don't care.
Anyhow.
Anyway.
Well, what are they going to do now?
Well, they all start pointing fingers and fighting again.
Yeah, and then McCready's like, nah, guys. He instructs them all. He's still kind of in threatened mode. Are they still like not trusting him? He's still threatening.
He's still defense. He's still pure defense right now.
He's still got the dynamite. he's still got a fucking, a terrorist jacket on. He's he gets all the guys to like tie themselves up or something.
Yeah, he pulls them all into a room and basically he's threatening. He's like, if any one of you fucking comes near me, I will shoot you. I will kill you. And I think at this point, like, Clark goes to run for him.
Clark, yeah.
So Clark goes to run for him and grab him, and he just turns and shoots him in the head.
No. In the previous scene where all that shit was going down, we see Clark grab a scalpel off of one of the benches in the Medi Bay. And at this point, we see Clark gets out the scalpel because McCready's like, I want half you guys to tie yourselves to the chair and we'll work from there, kind of thing. Clark gets the scalpel out, tries to run at McCready, and McCready just turns around and instantly executes him.
Shoots him in the head.
Headshot, straight dead.
Damn.
Catch you around, dick face.
Yep. Oh, poor Daryl. So now they're all in this room and they've all tied themselves to each other, and he's decided that we are going to draw a little blood.
Yeah.
They're all going to have a go. So he's kind of sorted out his own little experiment.
Yeah, he gets Windows. At the moment, he kind of trusts Windows because Windows is the only one who hasn't kind of argued with anyone and he's been beaten up.
Yeah.
And he makes Windows tie all the remaining dudes to a fucking big couch kind of thing. They're tied up. They're all together. And he's like, he comes up with this plan. He's like, the duck says like every part of its cell is a living thing, and it's got a natural, defense that it doesn't want to get hurt. So I figure if we take some blood from everyone and I'm going to heat up a wire, and if we put that wire in there, it's going to try and defend itself and react because every part of it. And they're like, not the worst plan.
Hey, it's the only plan we got. So he's standing there as well, and he's like peeled off
he's got
the
big,
plastic,
thick wire.
Yeah, he's peeled off the plastic part of it, and he's just like kind of heating it up over his
with his flamethrower.
Which is really
on
cool.
low.
Yep.
It's not flaming out. It's like, ooh.
No, it's just like that warmth before. Everyone starts to.
So first he goes like to Windows. First we'll test you.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Windows goes around and gets everyone's blood
with
a fucking knife and gets a lot of blood and puts it into petri dishes with everyone's name on them.
Yeah, it's a lot of blood.
Well, yeah, he's not a doctor, Windows.
No, he's really
not. He's a radio
man. He is. Yep. And so he picks up each petri dish one at a time.
First he has Windows.
Clear.
Puts the wire in it. The wire just
burns through.
Yeah, just like nothing happens. He's like, you're all good. Okay. McCready does it to himself. And he goes, now I'm going to prove to you guys what I knew all along. Yeah. He puts it in. Nothing happened.
Done.
Childs, meanwhile, he's on the chair and he's like, this is a crock of shit. He doesn't believe that this... Why would you think this test worked? Especially,
He does... he checked Doc Cooper's.
Yeah.
He was clear.
Yeah, so so Doc's dead on the thing. Clark's dead. He does both of them.
Both clear.
And
Childs kind of gives him shit. He's like, so now you're just a cold-blooded killer. There was nothing wrong with Clark.
So Charles is human, was he? That makes you a murderer. McCready just, water off a duck's back, that comment. He don't give
he was just like, I don't care. I'll kill all of you. Yeah, it's not a problem.
Palmer is next. He goes... Palmer is the Vietnam vet guy with the denim jacket. He puts it in there, and sure enough, the blood... This is great. I didn't know what happened.
So good.
The blood jumps up out of the petri dish and goes... It doesn't attack anyone. It just kind of panics.
Yeah.
Now, which was Palmer's blood, Palmer now has been revealed. So it seems like when he gets revealed, it just fucking panics and bails this thing.
Well, yeah, it's kind of like, oh, I'm going to need to, okay, well, I'm in trouble now. So they're going to come for me. They're going to try and kill me. I need to get into something else now. So he starts
shaking.
Yeah. Oh, so good.
Everyone's tied to the couch with him. And they're like, oh, fuck, shit.
And they're like, oh, get out.
They're all panicking. Like, they're tied to, Palmer turns into this fucking bloody mess. His face is melting. Blood's pouring out of his face. It's they're all like going, oh, we're tied to this couch with a blood beast.
It looks so good. He frees himself as well. He gets up and his
body's just mutilating.
It's like shrunk down or whatever. And he gets up
his
and he
body
kind of starts
flings to the ceiling.
Yes,
it kind of like jumps but flings itself onto the ceiling, which looks great. I reckon it's just an upside down shot that they've like done someone falling from the ceiling, but it splats up onto the ceiling.
They're still all tied to the chair as well, so they could potentially just be like tied upside down while he's
but now
just
it's not onto the chair with him. But he's reversed gravity somehow and stuck himself to the ceiling.
Yep.
Windows goes to flame Palmer on the ceiling, but his flamethrower doesn't work or something.
He doesn't know what's happening.
The Palmer monster jumps down in front of Windows. Windows freezes because he's like, poor old Windows.
Yeah.
Palmer's head opens up like a giant mouth.
Yeah.
And then grabs hold of Windows's head. They kind of do this weird dance together for a while. Like
he's kind of like flailing him around, which looks really cool because it is literally just like a sandbag mannequin. So he's like,
but like Windows's arms are merging with his arms, and his head's merging with him. So now it's just a creature which is like, imagine that, like someone whose arms and heads are joined together, but still running around a room with one of the bodies just flailing around. Anyhow, Windows' body gets flung off of this mutant mass and smashes into the ground, and it's all fucked up and weird and starting to melt. Mm-hmm. Fine. This whole time, McCready's flamethrower is not working.
No, he's dropped it on the ground. Something's not happening. It's not lighting up.
But then suddenly he gets the flamethrower working, and he blasts Palmer and flames Palmer. Mm-hmm.
Palmer jumps out he basically just jumps through
the wall.
The wall.
He runs through the wall.
Running through the wall.
He's on fire out into the snow.
And then he fucking McCready lights a stick of dynamite and just like flunk.
Throws it at Palmer.
Blows him up.
And I'm like, that wouldn't solve anything. He just went over everybody.
Now he's everywhere.
Because if every part is a thing.
Yeah. So he's everywhere now.
Yeah, that's not the best plan, but apparently that took him out.
Mm-hmm.
Have you played the video game of this on the PS2?
Haven't.
It's so good.
Really?
Yeah, because it's just like you're in the camp and it's a small ensemble cast and you're just trying to work out who the thing is and stuff. And people start to not trust you. And you have to gain trust, you have to give them your ammo or your health to sacrifice. But if you're giving it to the wrong people, you're giving ammo to the things, whoever's changed. Oh. Such a good PS2 game.
Honestly, I'm surprised they haven't come out with a board game for it yet.
Well, there probably would be a board game.
Board game for everything now.
Yeah. Even if it doesn't work as a board game, there's a board game for it because people just want to buy board games. Monopoly is that thing. There's a Monopoly for everything, and Monopoly is, without a doubt, in my opinion, the worst board game. No one enjoys playing Monopoly.
No. The amount of friendships and arguments and throwing of things and
Anyhow, McCready walks back inside. We see poor Windows in the corner. He's already started to half transform. He's
just completely covered in blood as well. He's
melting.
Yeah, it looks really cool.
Hey, and McCready just gives him puts him out of his misery. He flames him.
Lights him up. And then he literally just
shrugs that off.
Goes back to...
Back to the test.
Niles is clear. Childs is clear.
Yeah, we do this real quick thing. We see Niles, you're good. Then we see a shot of Niles there with the flamethrower on Charles. Charles, he's all good. The only guy left now is Gary.
Uh-huh.
And then, poor old Gary tied to the chair, and they test him. He's good. And Gary's like, when you find the time, I'd rather not spend the rest of this winter tied to this fucking couch.
Yeah, he goes really crazy. He's like, don't you look like an asshole?
So now no one is the thing.
Yeah, everyone is secure. Everyone is safe
But
except
Blair.
Blair.
They haven't tested him. And then, so Childs we see Childs, he's keeping watch. He's looking out. He's got the flamethrower. He's looking outside. McCready comes up to him and goes, like, we're going to go out and give Blair the chest.
Yep.
If he comes out and we're not with him, burn him. And I'm like, sick. And I'm like, that's a good plan. Like,
yeah.
if we're not with him, it means he's killed us and he's coming in to get you.
Yeah, you're fucked. So they go
So
out.
now Charles is somewhere. He's
Yeah.
inside.
He's keeping watch.
I don't know why he just didn't go with him.
I don't know. Yeah, now is not the time to split up.
I know, Charles has to guard. What are you guarding, Charles?
Nothing. There is
Exactly.
nothing to guard.
Anyhow, cut to the shot of the three guys going to Blair's house. The storm is up. It's stormy as fuck. They're using one of those, like, you know, the ropes leading
yep.
themselves to Blair's little store. Well, what is it? In the tool shed.
Yes, he's in the tool shed. The door is open.
Already open. They're like, Blair's gone.
It's like, how did he get out? Like
Fuck?
it was bolted from the outside. Like, what the hell? So they're walking around, they're trying to figure it out, and they step on a floorboard and
Which
it
is creaky.
creaks, and they're like, oh.
And they lift up the floorboard and they find, tunnel. I don't know how he dug this. Well, then again, he can probably transform into shovels for hands.
This is true. But now I'm curious as to how long he's been out there, because
It was a couple of days.
they literally, like, they jump down, like, a couple of feet down into a tunnel and walk through a tunnel into like an igloo.
A room, yeah, a nice room.
And it's a large room too, because
but we don't know. The thing could turn into shovel hands.
that's true, but he's been down there building a spaceship.
Yeah, so there's a half-created little version spaceship flying a very stereotypical flying saucer. Loved it. Down there, and they're like, he's been a busy boy, and he goes, these are the parts of the
Like
helicopter,
the tractor, all the stuff that's been going missing.
Oh no! Anyhow, so then we see, the other guys start wiring up dynamite onto this spaceship because they're just going to blow it up because you don't want the thing getting away.
Yeah.
And at that time, Knowles, he kind of looks out of the tool shed and he sees Childs running across the outside. He's gone.
Yeah.
He's no longer at his post inside. He's running across the yard. He's like, I just saw Charles running outside. And then all of a sudden, as soon as that happens, the power goes out in the whole station.
Yep.
Now, this is where this film, I forgot to mention this. Did you notice this film? Because the station is lit with blue lights. So the station's lights are blue. Mm-hmm. So there's a lot of blue lighting in this film, which is nice. It's not, a lot of the time it doesn't make sense why there's blue lighting there, but there is blue lighting there. Also, all the flares are bright pink in this film.
Yes.
So you got and it makes it look super modern because how everything is blue and pink these days.
Well,
like
it's called the bisexual lighting. It's all a very neon blue or a very neon pink.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And which is that full 80s thing that was happening. But
Yes.
I don't know if they're doing it on purpose in this, but there are a lot of shots that are blue and pinkly lit, and it makes it look really cool.
It does. Well, even the film now, like, watching it, I'm like, this was 1982. Really? No.
Yeah, I mean, they're really getting on the 80s game real early, aren't they?
Yeah, it looks really good. So, yeah, like...
Anyway, the power's gone out.
Power's gone out, and they kind of... They come to the conclusion that it wants to freeze.
Yeah,
It now just wants to freeze. It wants to be found by the rescue team. He's like, there is nothing left for it here. Like, we are nothing.
Yeah, because he's like, why did he cut the power? And he goes, he wants to cool down the whole camp so it can just go to bed and go to sleep and wait for someone else to come because we've fucked its plans up.
Yeah.
And especially now that we've fucked its ship up.
Yeah, exactly.
But what was Childs doing?
Well, we don't know if it was Childs.
Yeah,
it was just
true.
someone. It could have been Doc Blair. It could have been Childs. Because there was a quick shot of the door where Childs was originally standing. He's no longer there anymore, so we don't know what he's doing. It could be anyone.
So they worked out they gotta turn back on the generator because they're gonna die of freezing. And McCready's like, yeah, we gotta warm stuff up around here then, and they set some charges and they blow up the dynamite that was on the
Yeah, well, they've established, he's like, we're not getting out of here alive, but neither is that thing.
Yeah.
This is great. Okay.
So it's just three guys now. It's just Knowles,
McCready.
McCready.
And some other guy.
Which other guy is it? I forgot. Is it Doc Cooper?
No, he's dead. He lost his arms.
We'll get onto that.
We will.
Oh, no, it's... Nah, I've forgotten as
No,
well.
me neither.
Doesn't matter. There's 3 guys left. 4 guys, including Charles, who's run away somewhere. 5, including Blair.
Yep.
Okay.
So this tractor drives right through the wall, and they just basically cut the fuel tank, and fuel is just pouring out of it.
They're putting dynamite running everywhere. They start blowing up the whole fucking complex.
They're just going from room to room like Molotov cocktails, like light up, chuck in. Next room, light up, chuck in.
And now they go down to the generator room and like turn back on the generator, and they're like, and they're with Gary.
That's right.
Yeah, Gary.
Oh,
and Gary
Gary
goes over and he goes, "How's the generator looking?" He goes, "It's gone." He goes, "All right, can you fix it?" He goes, "No, it's gone." The whole generator has gone.
It's disappeared. So they also now decide that it would be a great time
Split
to
up.
once again split up and lay the dynamite.
Split up, later. They're not split up that far though. They're only like in the eyes view. Have you noticed?
But they are within eyes view, but they're in like it's flare view
Yeah, true.
because they've only got flares lit up.
Pink flares.
Yeah.
Pink flares.
So Gary's gone off and he's laying his cables, and Blair, he gets the jump on him.
Yeah, he
and
comes
this
up
is really
behind
cool.
him.
He turns around, he puts his hand on his face,
Blair puts his hand on Gary's face.
and then he starts to
Merge.
assimilate his fingers into his face. This looks so cool as well.
And
Like
gross. And then he kind of opens his hand more to just give a good look at
I'm
it.
like, how did you do this? This looks amazing.
A lot of latex
And
there.
he basically just starts to drag him off. Like we get this scene of him, Gary's now on the floor, and he's just dragging him along the floor.
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's like he's putting his hand on his mouth so he can't yell,
Yeah.
but instantly when he touches him, he just assimilates into his own face. You know, and that's
Yep.
it. We never see that. We just assume that Gary has now been assimilated into Blair.
Yes, and
Yeah,
because there was
When two become one. See, gay marriage is
right.
already in this.
perfect. As this is happening, Niles decides that he's also going to go and investigate what's happening because something happens. I don't know if it was that sound, but he just gets really distracted.
Yeah, Niles and McCready are kind of putting dynamite down together, and Niles just like kind of walks
He
out
just
of
gets up and walks off.
He walks out of shot.
Yeah.
And then McCready's like, "Niles, what are you doing?" No answer, and he's like, it's too quiet here.
And now there was
instantly,
one.
McCready goes into defensive mode because he's like, "Hang on, there's no sound.
Yeah.
Everyone's dead apart from me."
Like, why would you leave the group?
McCready gets a bit of dynamite. Mm-hmm. He lights. It's like a slow burn wick. A long one. He lights it up. He's ready. He's like, you know what? If this thing is going to take me out, I'm going to blow. Like, there's dynamite everywhere. He's like, I'm going to blow. No matter what, this dynamite is lit. It is going to blow up.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, and suddenly, the thing starts heading towards him underground like a giant Bugs Bunny.
Yeah.
Like.
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
You know when Bugs Bunny travels underground? It's
Yep.
like that lump that goes on. We see it smashing down the corridor. Mm-hmm. It knocks McCready over. We see him drop his dynamite. It's on the ground still. It's going like...
Yep.
It's a long wick, don't worry.
No, it's fine.
It's a long
it's fine.
John
it's fine.
Wick.
So it comes out. It
We see
like
tentacles.
bursts through. It's like there's tentacles everywhere. There's like a head. There's like a
No,
dog
first
skull.
it grabs
there's
the
like,
detonator and steals the detonator so he can't detonate the thing. And it bursts out, and it has turned into the giant, slow, bulking, lumbering monster that I hate.
I know you hate it so bad.
It is, but it's big. It's pretty big. It's got like Blair's head. It's got a big mouth coming out the side of Blair's head. Out its guts bursts one of the dogs.
Yep.
There's bits and pieces everywhere, all sorts of shit and mouths, and
Yeah.
it's the amalgamation of all the other characters in this big heaping monster, which once again seems way less threatening than any of the other ones, but it's big.
Yep.
Anyhow, McCready, it throws a tentacle at him or something. McCready does this lame-ass somersault, like real slow.
It does,
Old
yeah.
man somersault, and in the somersault, he grabs the dynamite.
Uh-huh.
The thing looks at him. The only thing it does, and it can do, is roars at him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, you're a useless beast now, aren't you?
That's right.
And he's like, McCready's like, yeah, well, fuck you too.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's line.
And
Yes.
he throws the dynamite, which then we get a wide shot of the whole camp, and there's a whole bunch of shots of the the camp explodes into a mushroom cloud. We hear like a monster scream.
Yeah.
And then a whole bunch of more other explosions go off, like into a mushroom cloud. The whole fucking station is blown to smithereens. But it's fine, because somehow McCready is fine.
Yeah, he's fine. So somehow he is A-OK, and he's found his whiskey bottle.
Not only is he okay, he's found a rug, he's got wrapped around him, and he's found his bottle of JB.
Yes.
And then he stumbles to the ground and falls down with his fucking...
He's clutching
his bottle. And up comes next to him, out of nowhere, out of the storm, out of the darkness, his child, all frozen and fucked up with his flamethrower. Mm-hmm. And Charles looks at him and goes, "You the only one that made it out?" And McCready looks at him and he goes like, "Not the only one," as in implying to you. And he goes, "Where were you, child?" And he goes, "I thought I saw Blair, but then I got lost in the storm." And then they both realise they're the only ones left. Who the fuck cares if one of us is the thing?
Pretty much. So they're basically like, temperature won't last long. It's like, neither will we.
They both sit down together.
We should do something. He's like, let's just wait a little while. And
yes, let's just wait here and see what happens. They start to drink the scotch.
Yeah, so he hands Childs the J&B and he takes a swig and he kind of like just chuckles a little, and McCready chuckles a little and kind of puts his head down. And
then title card, John Carpenter's The Thing. Bomb, bomb. Bomb, bomb. End. Now, there must be heaps of theories about what happened at the end of this film. Do you know any?
Yeah, so
there's so many weird things in that last couple of scenes, eh?
Well, there's the theory that Childs is the thing. So we lose Childs at some point. When we finally see him again, he's in essentially what is a different outfit.
Is it?
He's in a different outfit.
Oh.
He takes the drink from McCready. So if you were where cells could be passed through drink, why would you take someone's drink and start drinking?
He might also like the drink.
You notice that McCready is sitting there and he's blowing like heavy smoke.
Oh, that's right. There's
no smoke coming out of Child's mouth.
Like he's not breathing.
It's like there's nothing there.
That's such.
So it's kind of like if he's like, he kind of knowingly hands him this drink to see if he'll drink it. And then he kind of like, he drinks it and he's like, yeah, okay, you're one of them. Like you are it. So he kind of like laughs to himself knowing. It could also, that drink could be full of gasoline or whatever they were using to blow everything up. Because you remember
McCready doesn't drink it, does he, in that last scene at all?
No. At no point while he's carrying it does he take a drink. So he could essentially just light up Childs again and he could just explode. Who knows? So there's that theory. And then there's the theory about I
think the theory of him not blowing out condensation. Is it condensation? What's it called? Like cold mist?
Frosty breath.
Frosty breath is a good one. And the fact that he's in different clothes is a massive giveaway. I'd never even noticed that. I've seen this film like 45 times. Never bothered to care.
And then there's also the theory of who is patient zero and who was assimilated at what time. So the theory is that it was Norris. Potentially Norris that was assimilated first because his collar that he wears over his Pamela Voorhees sweater is what you see, is what really sticks out in the silhouette as well. So he could potentially have been the first to go.
I thought the silhouette looked like... it probably was him.
Because also Palmer's another guy that they're like, maybe it was Palmer.
Good film.
Great film.
Good film.
Yes.
My final thoughts is that it's one of the most perfect horror films, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to explain why it's a good film. It just is.
There's a high level of tension in this film. And even though there's not a lot of like jump scares, the soundtrack's not there to like really like dig in this sense of like impending doom. It's just through character development and interaction that you see how this is happening. And, of course, now we see, like I said earlier on, this film sort of came out around the times that the AIDS epidemic became very popular. So a lot of it was like, you people who had the HIV are walking around like everyone else, but they could have it. Who knows?
Yeah.
Fingers being pointed.
The AIDS scares and stuff like that. I like the no romance angle because, I don't like kissing.
Yes.
I don't like romance in films. It's not that I'm not a romantic. No, let's face it, I'm not a romantic. I used to be, but I think I was only a romantic because I thought it would get me ladies.
Well, now you have a lady.
Exactly. Now I can just be like...
But maybe she likes a little bit of romance.
Well, she does. I buy some flowers every now and then
That's
and
nice.
hate myself for it. But
Oh,
don't want to look
dear.
at myself in the mirror. So, yeah, as I said, I like the blue and pink modern lighting in it. And that's a mistake. I didn't know that was going to happen. And I still think it's some of the best practical effects I've ever seen.
Oh my God, yes. And the fact that it was done by a 22-year-old, like, what the fuck?
A visionary. Like, a dude who just, like, had all the ideas and
And
stuff.
this is still, like, his work is still held in such high regard. It's like, okay, you want to learn? Look at what this guy did.
Yeah.
It's insane. I
When he
fucking
was,
love
like,
it.
you know, just growing some pubes.
I also love the soundtrack. It's very simple
Boom,
but very
boom.
effective.
What did you give it?
I gave this 2 ratings.
I gave it 1.
What's yours?
A. Everyone should watch this.
It's true. I also gave this a C. It is a classic that is worth a watch.
Yeah, that's true as well. Yeah, I probably would have put that if I'd noticed it. Oh, man.
Yeah, no, fantastic. I love it. I highly recommend. We've had a few people very excited that we are doing this this film.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Well, there you go. The thing.
We can't get to all the classics straight away. We'll burn through them all too quickly.
Yeah, we'll get there. What are you going to watch next week, Jen?
Okay.
Oh, no, what are you doing? You're grinning and I don't want you to. You're not going to make me watch some more gore porn, are you?
No,
You're not going to make me watch piranha's tits and ass.
No. I was thinking to myself the other day while I was listening to some DMX, X gon' give it to you. We're going to watch Jason X.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Because
I didn't know where that was going then, that diatribe of
I'm
garbage. Jason X. That's not even on your list of things that you potentially want to watch.
I know.
What's 1408?
That's the Stephen King movie. So it's the one with John Cusack. He's basically a horror writer. I think he reviews haunted locations and he stays in a hotel.
I know if you got Wild Zero. Do you have the DVD of that?
Yes, I do.
So with the drinking game on it?
Oh, I think so.
It's got a drinking game on it whenever fire happens or a zombie's head explodes or someone yells something out, you have to drink. And it actually puts little beer mugs up when you have to do it.
Okay.
And we did it for a pub movie once and put it on there at the Grace Emily. We used to show films for the shop I used to work for. And everyone did it, and it was easily the best, thing. And there's bits at the end where everything's going crazy, and 7 little beer mugs just come along the bottom, and it was like, oh, it's just having to drink your whole drink.
I'll have to double check now. But yeah, that's definitely on the list of things to watch.
If you need that version of it.
Cool.
The Wild Zero. Anyway.
I can't do drinking games anymore. We tried to do one recently, and I'm like, I lasted about 20 minutes. I'm like, I can't do this.
Oh, eyes.
I know, I'm old.
So next week is Jason X. It's got one of my favourite Jason kills in it.
It does, yeah.
We'll get to it though.
Yeah, fantastic. Okay, thank you guys. You've been listening to TerrorVision Horror Podcast with Dan and Jennifer. We are available on all major podcasting services and also on the YouTubes. But no matter where you choose to consume us, please make sure to hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment or a review, and make sure you share with all your friends. You can interact with us on both Facebook and Instagram at TerrorVision Pod. It'll keep you up to date with upcoming episodes, trivia, and of course memes that are 100% 3 years old by now. We also have an email, terrorvisionpod@gmail.com, and opening and closing music is Void Swirl by Sister Wife.
And remember, until next week, may all your Until next week, may all your dreams
be nightmares.